to be talking about UFOs, okay? A man by the name of Travis Walton, who claims to have been abducted in 1975. Now, he's the basis. His story was the basis for the movie Fire in the Sky, for those of you who saw that movie. Thank you, Tanya. So his story is the basis for the movie Fire in the Sky. And he's one of the most famous stories, or has one of the most famous stories about someone who's supposedly been abducted. Because it was him and his friends that were getting off of work. They were loggers, and they were out in the woods when Travis was taken up, abducted. Now, they saw him being snatched up into the air, like 20 feet. First, they saw this shiny disc, this huge, like 40-foot disc, and they saw it hovering overhead, right? And then they were telling Travis, come on, let's go. And obviously, he was trying to get a better look. I don't know what he was doing, but it snatched him up into the air like 20 feet and then threw him back down. They thought he was dead, so they were afraid that people would think they killed him. So they all just jumped in the truck and took off. Okay, and I'm going to play you the video of what they have to say about the incident. UFO alien abduction still haunts Travis Walton. Close encounters of the fourth kind. That's when a person claims to have been kidnapped by a UFO and it's reportedly otherworldly occupants. Now, of course, there's no tangible evidence that anyone has ever been taken aboard an extraterrestrial spacecraft. But there are those who claim that they have been abducted, and their stories are quite chilling. Now, Travis Walton's terrifying account is the stuff that movies are made from. And in fact, they did make a movie, as I told you, Fire in the Sky. So he spoke with the Huffington Post 40 years after this incident occurred, when he was 22 years old at the time. He was a logger, and he claims that he was actually knocked unconscious. And when he woke up, he was surrounded by extraterrestrials, and he was aboard their spaceships, their spaceship or spacecraft. He says it was metallic, a glowing disc, making some very strange noises. The closer I got to it, the more scared we all got. And he's talking about him and his other friends, because there were 6 of them all together. He says the more scared we all got. And we were swearing, or they were swearing at me, telling me to get away from there. Because he was the one moving closer to it. Everybody else is like backing up. But he's walking up closer to get a better look. And when I got up close, it suddenly got louder and started to move. I jumped for cover and then jumped up to run back to the truck. And that's when the blast of energy hit me. And I just fell. I felt this numbing shock go through my body. But the crew said it threw me through the air 10 to 20 feet. And I landed in a way that they were immediately certain that it had killed me. And so they fled. Now, the incident began on November the 5th of 1975. After a long day's work at the Six Greaves National Forest near Heber, Arizona, Walton and 6 other loggers were heading home when they suddenly saw a 40-foot diameter shiny disc hovering above them in the air. Walton first told his extraordinary story in a 1978 book. It was called The Walton Experience, which became a 1993 film, Fire in the Sky. Now, his account has just recently been turned into a candid documentary called Travis, the story of Travis Walton. Now, Walton reveals the terrifying details of his experience at the hands of several non-human beings and his feelings of suffocation and the fear that he was dying as the event unfolded. He says, when I was first able to focus my eyes again good enough, I was still on a table. And as soon as I saw this face, I knew it wasn't human. I tried to hit it to get it away from me. They were much smaller than I was, and I think that's the reason they finally gave up. Once they found that they couldn't control me, they just split. I was absolutely terrified. Now, Walton was declared missing for 5 days during the time in which his logger buddies fell under suspicion of foul play. When Walton finally turned up again, not knowing how long he'd been gone, an intense investigation was underway, including multiple polygraph, physical, and psychological tests. Now, he told the HuffPost about little known aftermath details including subsequent research and subsequent research in the forest area, which has shown an unusual growth rates in the trees in the immediate vicinity of that encounter. Now, he says about 15 years later, it was discovered that the trees nearest to where the UFO had hovered had actually been producing wood fiber at 36 times the rate that it had been doing so 85 years prior to that. Now, more recently, a complete core sampling revealed that this thickened growth was only on the one side of the trees, which was towards the direction that the craft had actually been. Now, let me tell y'all something. They said when he showed up, right? They said that when he showed back up, he didn't know what day it was, and he didn't know how much time had passed. I want y'all to pay attention to something, because remember the first story that I did on here about the national parks and the people coming up missing without an explanation, and some of them were never found again. Some of them, of their remains, were later found, and months later, even years later, and then some of them came back days later or months later. They just showed back up alive and well, and they didn't know how much time had lapsed. It didn't seem like it had been a long time, as though like one man was gone for like a month and it didn't even seem like it. And I believe those were alien abductions. That's what I think happens to those people in those national parks, when they just disappear into thin air and nobody knows anything about them. I think sometimes it's alien abductions, in my opinion. And also, I think that's why they have a loss of time. Because here's what we have to remember. In space, there is no concept of time. In the spiritual realm, there is no concept of time. Okay? Time is a man-made construct. There's no time in the spiritual realm. All right? Showed up without shoes and weird stuff. Yes, he didn't have on shoes. Absolutely. Queen read Terry Lovelace's book also, Incident at Devil's Den. Okay. ScrewTube pissing me off. I wish I was home. Okay, so let me continue. So Walton addresses the stigma that he and so many other people have gone through when they have claimed to have been abducted by extraterrestrials. They're generally considered unreliable, unbelievable, and crazy. Now, he says the scientific evidence of the likelihood of intelligent life in our vicinity has become so overwhelming that the people who believe that we're on this or alone in this universe, they think the rest of us are crazy, the ones who've experienced these things. Now, to commemorate the 40th anniversary of his close encounter, Walton planned to speak at the Skyfire Summit in Arizona. On the agenda was a road trip to the exact spot and location where his incident occurred 40 years later, when all the controversy had begun. And so I'm going to play the interview that they did with Travis and some of his friends who were with him when this all happened. They abduct those that are in places they don't belong, not Black people. I don't think that it has anything to do with the places they're in. I think it has to do with the fact that they're not Black people, because clearly I believe the extraterrestrials are Black, and as many people have said, and also as the astronaut from NASA even said, a former astronaut said the same thing, said they were tall, like 7 to 8 feet tall, and they were Black. And here's the thing, there was a group of school kids over in Africa, and these were white kids. They said that they were outside at one point, and there was a spacecraft hovering, and they said the occupants were Black. So this is numerous people, and these people who are saying this are always white people. But the reason I think they abduct white people is because I think they're curious about them. They want to know, how they function. Where did they come from? I think that's why they do these experiments on them. Okay, I've only heard one story of a Black person being abducted, and that was the guy who I also told you a story about when him and his wife were abducted. He was Black and he had a white wife, and I think that's why they were abducted. But they were doing the experiments on his wife, not him. So that's why I think that happens. Okay, now let me share my screen. Everyone, please get the likes up. Please like and share the video. If you do a YouTube search for Terry Lovelace, he has many interviews, okay? There are too many planets in the space for us to be the only ones there is definitely life on other planets. I absolutely believe so. Okay. I haven't heard anything about any black people being abducted either, Queen. Absolutely. Right, Queen. That's what I meant based on your last live. It's color-based truth. Queen, I stand corrected with my communication. Didn't word it right. That's okay, beloved. You know, that's the thing about when we text things and type things online. Sometimes it gets lost in translation, unfortunately. I've done the same thing myself. Betty and Barney Hill, I think it was. Absolutely, Cole. That's who it was. Betty and Barney Hill. That's the interracial couple that was abducted. Yes. So now let me show you this interview. Everyone, please get the likes up. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. Thank you. Okay, so here we go.
Hi, my name's Dinner, and you're going to.
I imagine the most shook up one was probably Steve. He was only like 17. I think he actually lied about his age to get the job out there.
Yeah, I was 17, so I was the kid. I thought we was going to go to jail for murder.
There was times I was saying we need to go back. There was times I was saying we need to go get help. You know, I mean, it went back. Everybody was going back and forth, you know, in their own minds and between each other. When we got back there and we looked around the area and we couldn't find Travis, that's when it hit Mike. Mike and Travis were best buddies then, you know, and stuff. And I think he felt really bad about taking off and leaving him like that.
We came off the mountain after we was looking for Travis and we couldn't find him. And we pulled in there and Kenny got out and called the sheriff's department.
I think Kenny just told him it was a missing person. He didn't tell him what was up, you know.
It didn't come directly to me. It came to a deputy sheriff in Heber who called me on the phone, and then he gave me a little more detail on it about you guys coming in from the woods and something got your attention.
A few minutes after we parked out in front of the station here, Deputy Ellison arrived. Three of us volunteered right away to get in his car with him and tell him what had happened. He says that he didn't believe us or disbelieve us. You know, he was going to be neutral, but before we went up on the hill to radio, for him to radio the sheriff, we better be certain.
What the hell happened to this young man? How is it that he could just disappear?
We're a rough looking bunch then, you know, and a bunch of us out there with chainsaws and that, and some conflicts here and there, you know. So they just immediately started assuming, well, they killed this guy, you know, because they weren't going to believe that wild story we were telling them.
The police, and no one can blame them, had to look at the much more obvious real-world possibility that these hardworking, tough blue-collar guys, even though they were friends, there was a falling out, there was a fight, an argument, and one way or another, Travis lost his life. The body was hidden.
I hope you're taking interest in this film. If you'd like to learn more.
Okay. Space is fake and aliens are demons. Okay. Okay, so there you have it, people. That's what he said happened. Now, hold on. Let me get this chat back moving. I remember these guys used to do talk shows. The story used to scare the heck out of me. Okay, JMT, absolutely. It was in a sighting in Mexico. I think it was recently in 2000. Okay. Green dollars matter. If you are a troll, you can leave. Yeah, I think that is a troll. I think that is a troll. They love to pop in every now and then and say stupid stuff. Okay, so that all being said, I'm going to show you all one more video before I conclude this broadcast. This is Pascagoula. I believe that's how you pronounce it, Pascagoula. They call it the Pascagoula Nightmare. Okay, where this man claims that he too was abducted by aliens. And so let me let you all see some of this. I'm not going to play the whole thing because it's like 10 minutes, but I want to play a part of what he had to say. So everyone, please get the likes up. Please like and share the video. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already.
Of 73 that would go down in history.
They were all excited.
Diamond, can you tell me just what happened that night?
No, sir, I can't. All I can tell you is there was two men came into the sheriff's department approximately 8:30 and 9 o'clock. They were all excited, upset, wanting to climb the walls, hysterical, crying. That's actually all I know is what happened. And as far as me seeing what happened, I don't know.
Of course, we could see them in the opening coming from, you know, when it started out the craft. But
Did you think it was people coming out at first?
Well, they had. I kind of thought it was people at first, you know, off like that. But of course, when they appeared there in front of me, it was the most shock I've ever had in my life.
What did you see?
Well, they were shorter than me. I'd say about 5'2" or 3", and they didn't have a neck. The head seemed to come directly to their shoulders, and they had something that came out to a point about where a nose would be, and on each side the ears. And I believe that they looked like they were a little longer on the ears than the nose.
But still pointed the ears.
They were still pointing, yes.
But since I was down there, and since I was a physician, and several other scientists and investigators were asked to consult and look into the situation, I was asked if would I mind if I would be present, and I said I wouldn't mind at all. And while it is still very difficult for us to believe that a spaceship landed and that robot type creatures came out and actually took these two people into the spaceship, these men, in my opinion, believe that they saw this.
Okay, so there you have it, people. There you have it. At the end of the day, people, let me tell you all something. If you all see trolls in the chat, moderators, just get rid of them, okay? No ifs, ands, or buts. And you know they're trolls when they're saying stupid stuff that has nothing to do with what we're talking about or just trying to cause disruptions. Just please get rid of them. That's all you have to do. Don't engage them. Don't go back and forth with them. That's all they want. They love to cause distractions, okay? So with that all being said, thank you all for tuning in once again. You all are so crazy. I'm reading these comments. Oh, okay. Someone said, Cole said that's in Mississippi. Okay, I was wondering where that was. Okay. I think when the USA started messing with nukes, that brought on the attention from UFOs. Could be the case. Someone's crown chakra is out of alignment. Space is fake. Right. This is how you know that's a troll, because anybody saying space is fake, that's so stupid. You can see into space with telescopes. You can see into space when you look into the sky, the galaxy. If there was no space and it was fake, why do we have NASA and, you know, astronauts and all that stuff? So crazy, right? Okay, so with that all being said, does this mean he's some type of clone queen? I don't know who you're talking about, beloved. You talking about the guy who said that he saw that? I doubt it. I doubt that. So anyway, with names from 1960s cartoon, they should be abducted. Betty and Barney. Right. Okay. So anyway, it's also crazy. I did wonder why it's only white people being abducted. Yes, I think the aliens, clearly the extraterrestrials, I think they clearly want to do research on them. That's just what I think. Okay, and they're wondering where they came from, and you know what they know and how they were constructed and things like that. That's just what I think. Okay, so that all been said, everyone, please like and share this video. I'm going to conclude the broadcast. Thank you all for tuning in once again, and until next time. There was someone else I was supposed to make a moderator on here. I left out one person. I can't remember who it was. Somebody. I think it was Desmond. I don't know if Desmond's on here. I don't think he's on here today. That's why I couldn't make him a moderator. He has to be in the chat for me to do it. But anyway, thank you all for tuning in once again. And so please like and share the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. Ben Siam says, thank you, Queen. And thank you, beloved. Thank you all for tuning in. So make sure you follow me on Instagram at QueenAMadiahShakur. Also on Instagram at Divine_Goddess_27. On Twitter at DGoddess27. Patreon and Brighton at Queen Amadai Shakur. And I will be starting a podcast this week. Okay. So with that all being said, I wish you all love, peace, and prosperity. Enjoy the rest of this evening. And until next time, what just happened? Okay, that's crazy. Okay, so anyway, I will be starting a new podcast. Make sure you all, I'm going to give you all more information on that so that you can follow me on there also. But enjoy the rest of this day and stay in your high vibrational frequency, okay? And until next time, people, and don't forget to tune Black in the morning at 9 a.m. for your morning wake-up call. And until next time, I will talk to you all again soon.